Hello, everybody. How's it going? Hope you're all doing well, staying safe, and keeping healthy as always. Just wanted to chat to you guys today about the Warzone Pacific update and the new Caldera map. It's been out for about a week now. Had my first game and stuff on Thursday, which is up on the channel. And yeah, I've spent a bit of time with it and just wanted to chat to you all about, the stuff that I like, the stuff that I don't like, get feedback from you guys if you're playing it as well. And just see and just talk to you about where I'm at with it, really. Because I think it's in a bit of a state. It's a bit of a mess at the moment, unfortunately, which is such a shame. Because there's stuff that I really, really like and it's promising. But there's just a lot of stuff that I think they need to change and address really, really quickly for people to continue playing and stuff like that. What you're seeing here and stuff is just some gameplay from my last stream on Friday, which you can check out on Twitch. So drop a follow there if you want to catch me go live over on Twitch about three days a week usually. So yeah, let's start off and talk about the things that I like about Warzone Pacific and the new Caldera map and the huge Vanguard integration and all that jazz. It's an exciting new chapter for Warzone. It's something new and something fresh, which I think we've all been clamoring for a long time in the Warzone community. We had Verdansk for near enough 2 years. We've got this brand new Caldera map now. The POIs are great. I love how colourful it is. Love how vibrant it is. I love the fact that it's set in the Pacific. It's just got a lot of life and character to it that I don't think Verdansk had. It was a lot of browns and greys. It was pretty dull. Whereas this is the complete opposite. It's full of colour. There's beaches. There's, tropical jungles. There's a volcano, a peak you can drop into. Underground caverns and caves, a big capitol building where there's no tall skyscrapers that people can camp on, but all the buildings and stuff have got licks of paint on them and stuff, which is colourful. It's just got a lot of character, and it's popped. It stands out a lot more than Verdansk does. And as much as I don't like going back in time, to the World War stuff, we've got new weapons. A ton of new weapons have come over from Vanguards that you can level up and use. Yes, people are at a disadvantage if you don't own Vanguards, because a lot of people that do have Vanguard have come into Warzone Pacific with all these guns ranked up and ready to go. They know what guns may slip into the meta, which ones are the best to use, whereas people like myself are still trying to figure that stuff out and level up weapons, which puts people like me, as I say, at a disadvantage, which kind of sucks. But we've got new weapons, new assault rifles, LMGs, SMGs, all the rest of it, which is cool and exciting. And all the changes as well that they promise with Warzone Pacific are encouraging for the most part. In Vanguard Royale, there's no heartbeat sensors. They've kind of nerfed dead silence a little bit, but I still think that needs to be taken out of the game. The loadout drop. This is a big controversial one. You can't buy a loadout drop straight away, which I always said going into this wouldn't necessarily be a problem if the ground loot was great, like in Iron Trials, and it wasn't to begin with. But I think now recently they've fixed it, which we'll talk about a little bit later. To the point where now, like, I don't mind waiting for the free loadout drop to buy a loadout, because I think the ground loot is kind of strong. Certain weapons are anyway. So yeah, I like that. It changes the flow, it changes the pacing and stuff of the game a little bit. I know a lot of people really don't like that, but I don't mind it so much. And obviously you can come back now from the gulag with the weapon and the equipment and stuff that you have, assuming you don't use all the equipment in the fight, which I like, which is a big plus that we saw with Iron Trials. I think that's a huge win with that. So there's a lot of stuff going on in Warzone Pacific and stuff that I like. I'm excited to sink more hours into it and to learn the map, the pacing, the flow. I'm still figuring out, the best places to position myself in certain areas. Verticality is a huge part of this map now, so it kind of changes the whole dynamic of thinking about, do you have high ground and, pressing people from above. Thinking about your rotations a lot earlier now, because if you get caught, on the low ground and people are up high as you're rotating, you're pretty much dead. So you've got to, think about that and change your approach a little bit. all that stuff is really, really encouraging, and I like a lot. But the problem is, the game is just in an absolute mess at the moment. I mean, it launched with so many technical issues, so many bugs, that they have addressed a lot of them for the most part, which we'll touch on a little bit later. I mean, but at the moment, you know, I played the game on Friday and over the weekend. It's like December 19th now on the Sunday. So I played it yesterday on the Saturday, played it on Friday. The game's just completely broken on console. I mean, it's absolutely terrible. The pre-game lobbies are laggy. The frame rate completely drops. Audio cuts out when you pull in parachutes and stuff. I mean, but the worst part about it is you drop into the game, and for the first couple of minutes, for me at least, and it seems like for the majority of console players, textures aren't loading in, so it looks like Mario 64. I'm inside a building, and my character is like it's just running up against invisible objects, like tables that haven't spawned in yet. I'm opening crates, which is super laggy. When I go to buy stations and things, the game freezes, and so it takes me ages to buy a UAV or plates, which usually gets me killed. And so if I want to drop into a relatively, you know, hot area and try and clean up some kills, I've got absolutely no chance because my game's still loading in. You know, I can't even pull out my pistol while I'm in the air, dropping into the game to shoot people if I wanted to. And when I land and I grab weapons from crates, they usually don't appear in my hand. I just get the crosshair. I can't even ADS. The weapon's just completely invisible. I mean, this wasn't an issue when it launched, but for some reason now, it's just completely bugged. You look on Twitter, you just search Warzone, PlayStation 5 or Xbox or whatever. People are getting disconnected like pretty much every game, losing connection to servers, all the rest of it. It's just an absolute shambles right now. You know, I'll try and throw up some screenshots and stuff, which you're probably seeing or seeing now, of like what the game has looked like for me, what it's looked like for other people on console. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I don't understand how on earth it's got to this stage. I mean, the drop in frames, the textures, all of it, it's just absolutely mental. And there's audio issues as well, which, you know, is no surprise to someone like Dr. Disrespect. The game's had audio issues for a long, long time, but it seems to be even worse now. I mean, the game launched, the Pacific update launched, all you could hear was like planes and stuff overhead. All that was way too loud. The bombing runs, which they've now thankfully taken out the game, was super loud and actually sounded like, you know, footsteps on like wooden surfaces, which was throwing people off. I can't believe that this is still an issue, but I'm still not hearing people like run up behind me. I could have someone like completely traverse like a mountain, scale up a mountain, walk up behind me and kill me, and I'm not hearing any of that. And as I've mentioned, dead silence, you know, that just needs to be completely taken out of the game because the fundamentals of the audio are completely broken. But also, it comes down to, like, for a long time, I couldn't hear one of my pals, someone on the squad that I play with, Adam. For some reason, I just couldn't hear him whatsoever. Or he couldn't hear me, sorry. I could hear him. You know, he was in Discord with other pals, but obviously I can hear him through the in-game, built-in kind of chat feature. But he couldn't hear me. I signed on with Kushawolf, with Dunk last night, and he couldn't hear me. I could hear him perfectly fine, but he couldn't hear me. It's just like, what is going wrong here to break stuff like that, where I can't even like hear my teammates and stuff. We tried, you know, enabling, disabling voice chat. We both restarted our game a bunch of times, and eventually it worked. But like that just shouldn't be an issue to begin with. And, you know, as I mentioned with the terrain and stuff like that, I mean, I like the verticality of Caldera. I think it really changes the game quite significantly, and it's kind of cool. But I mean, it'd be great if you could, like, traverse it properly. I mean, yeah, yes, you can, I guess, scale and climb a lot more surfaces now. But it's still, like, really inconsistent and really janky and really buggy. Like, there's certain stuff that you look at and you think, yeah, I should be able to run up that or traverse that. And you just can't. You try and like slowly edge your way down the side of a mountain or something, and your character just completely just flies off the thing. I mean, if you've built a map that's kind of built and designed around traversing and you know, verticality and all stuff like that allow me to, you know, move around the map, you know, a lot better than what we can at the moment. I mean, I thought they were, I thought they were going to completely, you know, address that and you know, scratch it and kind of build it from the ground up again and make it a lot more, you know, traversable. I mean, the game is screaming out for some sort of like grapple hook, like Halo Infinite, where you've got, you know, 5 uses of that maybe, and you can just shoot up things. You know, kind of similar to what the Stim's doing now, giving you a movement boost. I think, you know, something similar along that lines with some sort of grapple boost or whatever would be awesome. Or just, you know, have a lot more zip lines and stuff dotted around that you can shoot up a lot quickly, you know, a lot quicker, like Apex. Just stuff like that to make the traversal and the movement a lot smoother and more consistent. Oh, yeah, Krampus. And obviously with the Pacific map and Caldera, it being like this tropical lush landscape, I mean, I've run into people so many times just camping in bushes. And I guess that's kind of what the bombing run was kind of designed to do, to kind of flush people out from camping. But I mean, you know, you get someone in a ghillie suit operator skin just camping in a bush for the majority of the game. I walk past them and I'm just dead. There's nothing I can do. I know that's an issue you can't really fix, and that's just down to like player behavior. But I think it's, I mean, the map is kind of like, is almost screaming out for people to use that kind of tactic. I mean, it's just, it's kind of ridiculous and kind of stupid. We touched on Dead Silence. I've kind of got some notes here off to my right. I mean, the fact that there's no FOV for console still is kind of ridiculous. I mean, looking at the state of the game at the moment and the kind of fundamentals that they're not getting right, I mean, I'm not surprised that there's no FOV for console yet. But I mean, especially with Caldera now and the way this map is kind of designed, I think console players desperately need FOV now more than ever to try and just to see a lot more of the map because of the way it's designed and stuff now, especially, you know, verticality and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, the fact that there's no FOV for console players is kind of ridiculous. It puts us at a disadvantage, and I think that needs to be addressed relatively quickly. The vehicles in Vanguard Royale are absolutely trash. Obviously, you've got the main BR, which allows you to use, you know, weapons across Modern Warfare, Vanguard, and Cold War. And that has the vehicles that we know from Verdansk, the SUVs, the Berthas, the ATVs, all that sort of stuff. But Vanguard Royale, you know, has the planes and has vehicles from that kind of era. Trouble is, they are absolutely terrible to handle. I mean, they're so slow, they're so sluggish. They can't. It's quicker running up the side of a mountain than driving in a car. It's kind of ridiculous. They handle absolutely terribly, and there's just no point to using them whatsoever. So they need a kind of overhaul and a change. You know, just make them handle exactly the same as the SUVs and the Berthas. I mean, I don't understand why you had to kind of make that change. Yes, you kind of want it to be historically accurate, I guess. But it's a game at the end of the day. You know, it's a video game. You want it to be enjoyable and play well rather than be historically accurate. And, like, speaking of his historical accuracy and realism, I guess, why on earth they thought Bloom was a good idea on these Vanguard weapons to bring over to Warzone, I've got absolutely no idea. Thankfully, that's gone out of the game now. But, I mean, that's what fundamentally made the ground loot so terrible. And why I was thinking, wow, I really wish we had the option to buy loadouts from the off, because this ground loot is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I've lost count the amount of times before Bloom was taken out. I had a sniper rifle. I am exactly on somebody's head. You know, there's no windows or anything like that. I'll shoot. It'll either crack an armor because it's the bullet's dropped a little bit and hit somebody in the neck, or it's just completely missed. Because God forbid I shoot a bullet and it goes exactly where I've aimed. I mean, why Bloom was ever in there in the first place was ridiculous. They've took that out now, and I think the ground loot's a lot stronger, and the Vanguard weapons in general are a lot stronger. So thankfully they've taken out that, but I mean, why that was in there to begin with is ridiculous. And touching on the Vanguard weapons, I mean, there is so many attachments now on these weapons. 10 attachment slots and 75 levels to each of these weapons. to the point where people like JGods and, True Game Data, can't even, test these weapons accurately because there's just so many versions and, combos and stuff that you can use with these 10 attachments that completely and fundamentally change the makeup and stuff of the weapon, to where like you've seen people completely like break snipers and shotguns. I mean, the automaton with certain weapons was just an absolute laser beam at one stage and just had no recoil. Yeah, I mean, when you have 10 attachments for weapons and you make each of those attachments do different things and change the weapon, change the damage profile, change the accuracy, you're just asking for people to abuse that system and like put certain attachments together to create like an amalgamation of a weapon that like completely breaks it and just makes it an absolute powerhouse or laser beam. I mean, just make it simple. Just make it what you had in Verdansk, before Vanguard, or strip that back even further, maybe. I know you want people to experiment and customize with their weapons and suit it to their own playstyle, but I mean, 10 attachments for weapons with 75 levels that take absolutely ages to level up, and usually the best attachments for the weapon are later on in the levels, is just ridiculous. For somebody that works a full-time job, maybe he's got a couple of kids, they're going to be able to get onto the game for like 2 hours, maybe max a night. Like, then they're not hitting level 75 on the STG or automaton or whatever it is anytime soon. I mean, just drop the levels back of the weapons, strip back the amount of attachments and stuff you can use, or just change what the attachments do to try and avoid people breaking these weapons by putting certain attachments together. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. The Vanguard snipers are pretty much absolutely trash. They've changed. They are changing, or they have changed, kind of like the flinch resistance and the amount of time it takes for you to like aim at ADS with these snipers. But they're still like pretty much trash. There's no point in using them. If you want to snipe in Caldera, just go into the normal BR where you can use the Swiss and the Kar 98, because the Vanguard snipers are, I think, just crap at the moment, unless you can, as I say, put a bloody night vision scope on it with a certain stock, a silencer, and 18 other attachments to make it actually decent to use. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. And as I say, thankfully, Raven Software have come out and addressed a lot of the issues that were fundamentally broken with the game to begin with, like Bloom, like the planes locking on to people parachuting into the game. How on earth that got green lit, I've got no idea. And this isn't by any stretch of the imagination me having a go at Raven Software, at the developers, kind of attacking them or whatever, because I know games are difficult to make. I know developers, spend hours and hours, work ridiculous hours every single week, hardly see their families. I mean, it's, the crunch time that some of these studios face, the pressure from, investors and stuff high up to get these stuff out and to make money. I get it. I mean, it's incredibly difficult to make, let alone you're trying to build a BR that integrates 3 different Call of Duty games into one and make it balanced and make it run, it have crossplay, all the rest of it. It's no easy feat, I understand, and I applaud all the people at Raven Software that, are rolling out these patches quickly for issues, that were rife at the start of the game, to fix it. And I hope, the fact that it's broken on console gets fixed, soon, ASAP as well. But I get it's difficult. I get it's a challenge. Games are difficult to make nowadays. But I just wanted to talk about some of the issues that I think I have with the game, and I think a lot of people in the community will echo as well. Just to kind of get it out there, and hopefully, Raven Software and stuff, they listen to that, they take that on board, and they make some of these changes ASAP, because I love Warzone. I really, really enjoy playing Warzone. Warzone has completely changed my gameplay habits nowadays. Before Warzone came out, I was a strictly single-player person. Play nothing but single-player games. But ever since Warzone came out, it's like I'm back in secondary school. I care about my Warzone KD. All I want to play is multiplayer games and jump on with my mates and just get better and improve at the game. You know, nothing has had that effect on me, you know, since Modern Warfare 2. You know, back when I was, you know, in school. It's ridiculous the how drastically Warzone has changed my approach to games and what I want to play. And I want to play Warzone. I want it to be great. You know, I want to get better at the game. But when I'm running into issues like this and the game is virtually unplayable on console, you know, for the first 10 minutes of every game that I drop in, it just makes me want to, you know, bash my head against the wall in frustration because, you know, I want to improve and this is improving my progression and stuff like that within the game. But it kind of makes me want to like not play it, which sucks because like I say, I enjoy Warzone. If you look at the content and stuff on the YouTube channel, you know, if you watch me on Twitch, you know, it's all I play. It's all I talk about. It's all I kind of think about. Which might be an issue in of itself. You know, I need to kind of play more games, but that's besides the point. The fact is that, you know, I love Warzone and the fundamentals of the game are solid. It's a fantastic battle royale game. I mean, Call of Duty is the best first-person shooter out there for a reason. And they've kind of nailed the BR because as soon as you put the Call of Duty formula into a battle royale, I mean, you've got an absolutely, you know, magical kind of experience on your hands for first-person shooter fans and for battle royale fans. But when you've got fundamental issues that they don't seem to be addressing, they kind of like just seem to be patching up and not really, you know, addressing the issues that are kind of contaminating the solid foundations of the game. That's where you kind of have some issues, and I think they need to kind of seriously address sooner rather than later before they lose, you know, a lot of their player base. Like, this was supposed to be the brand new start, the clean slate, the hit the refresh button for Warzone to get everybody excited about the game again, to get people back on board, to get some of the big streamers, you know, like Nick Merckx back on board. And it just doesn't seem to have done that as well as it probably should have done. Whereas you look at something like Halo Infinite, that game debuted a year or so ago. It didn't look great. It got panned by fans, and then it went. Do you know what? We're going to delay the game by a year. And look at Halo Infinite now. The campaign is fantastic. The multiplayer is virtually spotless. It's an absolute critical darling. People love playing Halo. You know, it's getting viewers on Twitch. There's loads of tournaments and stuff for Halo now. Halo is in the conversation again because they took that time to polish it out and to make it a near kind of perfect experience. Yes, it's got its issues, but they took the time to, you know, to make it as perfect as it possibly could be. Warzone, I think, needs to do a similar sort of thing. If you have to take servers offline for a couple of weeks, do it. It's better than people on console trying to play the game and getting disconnected or having no textures load in. Just take it offline for a bit, you know? Just fix what you need to fix. Take all the time you need, frankly, to address these issues and then come back and with all this stuff fixed, and you will get nothing but praise from the fans. You know, people don't like delays, but fundamentally it improves your game and it's better in the long run. We all know this. But yeah, I mean, I didn't want this to be a rant, you know, or anything. I just kind of wanted to vent and share my thoughts on the Warzone Pacific map. You know, let me know down below what your thoughts are on it, where your kind of head's at with Caldera and the Warzone Pacific updates. I really, really do hope they fix these issues soon, because I want to go into 2022 and just continue to improve at Warzone and get better, you know, and put good content out on YouTube and Twitch and stuff. And it's been great to see my progression over this year. And I want to continue that. But I mean, if these issues don't get fixed within the game, I mean, I don't know if I'll be playing the game, you know, a lot going into the new year. I want to stick with it. I want to give it, you know, as many chances as possible. But it's going to come to a point that even for me, I'll just turn around and go, yeah, I think I need to look for something else because it just isn't working. They aren't addressing the fundamentals. Stuff that we've been crying out for since day one. So yeah, you know, let me know down below, you know, what you like about the map, what you like about Caldera and the Pacific update, and, you know, what you don't like. And if you share any of these thoughts, and hopefully, fingers crossed, they address these issues, and they address them quickly. But yeah, this is probably going to be the last video for me on the channel before the Christmas periods, and maybe, you know, before the new year. I'll try and get some stuff out, you know, post Christmas and before the new year, but we'll see how we go. If I don't, then have a wonderful Christmas and have an amazing and a happy new year to you all. Thank you so much for the support and stuff on the channel over the past year. It's been fantastic to really start that again and stream on Twitch. Thank you for everybody that's, you know, dropped by the chats and stuff over the course of the year. I'm definitely going to be continuing it in 2022. I can't wait to improve the stuff that I put out there and just continue to learn, continue to grow as a kind of content creator, I guess, and as a Warzone player. So yeah, have a good one. Enjoy the festive periods. Spend some time with your family and stuff like that. And if it's a difficult period for you, which I know it can be for some people over Christmas, I hope you find some positives, you know, over the festive period, and it's not too bad for you. But yeah, thank you all. Thank you all so much for your support and stuff like that. Look after yourselves. Be good to each other, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy.